Milton Highland Erickson was an American psychiatrist who specialized in medical hypnosis and psychotherapy. He was the founding president of the American Society for Clinical Hypnosis and noted for his approach to the unconscious mind as creative and solution-generating. Erickson's remarkable courage in the face of personal tragedy. Dr. Erickson was plagued with enormous physical handicaps for most of his life. At age 17, he contracted polio and was so severely paralyzed that doctors believed he would die. One night, after visiting Erickson at his bedside, his doctor told Erickson's mother that her son was entirely paralyzed by polio and would not live until morning. Overhearing this, Erickson asked his mother to arrange a mirror so that he could see the sunrise from his bed. Defying his doctor's prediction, Erickson went on to live for another 60 years, dying in 1980. Then, Erickson doctors also predicted that he would never walk. Erickson resisted this prediction as well. After his first year in college, he spent his summer vacation taking a 1,000-mile river trip. When he started out on the trip, he did not have enough strength in his legs to pull his canoe out of the water, and he could swim only a few feet. On the river, he had to fish and forage for his food since he had few supplies and only $2 in cash. With his considerable interpersonal skills, his ability to read people, Erickson had no trouble getting fishermen and other travelers to help him. By the end of that summer, Erickson had traveled over 1,000 miles. He could swim a mile and carry his own canoe. Later in his life, Erickson needed a wheelchair to get around, but that was only after many years of walking with his own strength and proving his doctors wrong.
He was born different. He was born with a number of congenital problems. He had color blindness, his atonality. He would hear people singing and he wondered what was all that screeching and why did people enjoy it?
He was tone deaf and colorblind. He could distinguish purple, so that's why he always wore purple.
He began to notice from childhood the differences between his perceptions and the perceptions of others around him. No one was able to tell him that you are different. He had to figure this out himself. So he would tell me many anecdotes from his childhood, how his father would be trying to pull a donkey into a barn, and Erickson would get an idea, and he would walk up to the donkey while his father's trying to pull it into the barn. Little boy Erickson would go up to the donkey and pull on its tail, and the donkey wants to get away from the little boy, and so he runs, almost tramples over his father to get into the barn. So these were aspects of his native, ingenuity, cleverness, and he always took pride in this.
When he started school, he discovered that he had what we would now call a learning disability. Letters were often reversed for him, and he had great difficulty, for instance, discerning an E from an M. One day, one of his teachers very sagely suggested, since this was in a rural environment and everybody was of course familiar with horses, is that maybe he could conceptualize the M as a horse grazing, a horse on the ground, and the E as a horse that had raised up and was rearing. And Erickson said there was a blinding flash of light, of realization, and of acknowledgement, and of insight that struck him at the time that his teacher said that.
I said, "What are you telling me, Milton? Did you have a hallucination as a child?" He says, "I don't know, but it was like a blinding flash of light, like an atomic bomb."
Erickson had a very early experience with utilization. And he carried this principle and this way of teaching and this way of conducting therapy for the rest of his life.